I always get tears in my eyes whenever I hear that song. It just reminds me. I've got a job to do, and we're creative. God made us to be creative people. And in that, we can create peace. Now, you might be asking, well, why do we have that peace focus today? And it's because this is International Peace Day. Isn't that wonderful? An International Peace Day. And this was formed in 1981 by the United Nations. So the world is known for a long time that as we grow, that we need to come together. We need to celebrate ourselves, but we need to have peace in the world. We need to cherish nature. We need to cherish each other. We need to be compassionate. We need to be giving and prosperity so that we can help those who may not have as much as we do. To give is good, and so is to receive. And so we've received messages from people throughout the world, throughout our lives. And the thing is, sometimes we don't stop to receive them. That song, written by John Lennon, co-wrote by Yoko Ono, was at a time when the world needed a message of peace. It was also a time where John Lennon had received a letter that said he would be assassinated in the next few years. And he was, right? He was assassinated, that beautiful spirit. And that word assassination has gone throughout time. It occurs over and over. It isn't just politics. We don't know what it is that drives others to end the lives of others. But at the same time, we know we have responsibilities to protect lives. And that's why I brought this shirt that I couldn't resist when I saw it. And you may not all be able to read it, but it says, duty, honor, courage. All gave some gave all. And that's why I put the flags in our flowers today too. Because peace is about recognizing that we, the United States of America, have made sacrifices throughout the years in the protection of peace. And let us remember, that's our job to make sure that those lives were not lost in vain. And sometimes we wonder, well, what is it can I do? What can I do? I'm not out there in the battlefield. I'm not doing those things. But what we can do is love others. Love others so that there's no sense in them that they're not of value. Show our compassion. When people take a life, somewhere in there, they're shouting at the world that something is missing for them and that they've reached that last moment where they feel the only power they have is to take a life. And so when we give and when we love, those people feel valued. They know that we see the goodness in them and that we want them. We want them because every person is created equal and every person was created by the divine to serve and to love. And so that's our reminder today. That's a foundation for peace for us today. So this day, what's happening around the world? And it is a world activity. There are all kinds of intercultural and interfaith dialogues going on. I had the pleasure of this week, the Parliament of World Religions conducts every month a special feature session, and it's a Zoom dial-in. And I had the privilege of participating in that. To listen to a rabbi, to listen to a person of the evangelical persuasion, to listen to a representative of the Muslim faith, and to realize the message from all of them was the same. It's basically the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And when we live every day that way, we raise the consciousness of the world. We generate the energy of peace. We're here to serve each other. The song, Imagine. We are creative and we can imagine. And when we imagine, we can take action. I found a wonderful writing titled The Peace of Christ by William Adams Brown. The peace of Christ is the peace of trust in the cause we serve. When service seems to fail of its end, it is the peace and confidence in God when all the forces and the universe seem working for ends sometimes that are undivine. It's the peace which can accept unexplained mysteries, which can bear heartbreaking sorrows too, which can see natural instincts thwarted, holy aspiration unrealized, Christ-like purposes broken off, and yet unperturbed. It's the peace of a Paul rejected by his countrymen. It's the peace of all those who have given their lives for causes too high and sacred for immediate success, and who yet have been able to believe that even their failures were being overruled by God for good. So maybe not all of it seems good, but there is a purpose. There is a goodness of everything in the world. Even when we see the evil in the world, it often brings us together. The perfect example is 9/11, right? We just celebrated 9/11. In my lifetime, I don't ever remember the country coming together as strong and forgetting about divisions, forgetting about political positions, forgetting about differences in each other. We came together as a country, as the United States of America, to love each other, to help each other. We found floods of prosperity and contributions to our churches at the time. People came together in prayer. There was a song that was written by Alan Jackson. The title is, Where Were You When the Towers Came Crumbling Down? Where were you on 9/11? Were you home, hugging your loved ones and appreciating them? I was sitting in a hospital in Aurora. My dear boyfriend at the time needed open heart surgery, and it was that day that he was having his open heart surgery. And we arrived at 6:30 and the televisions were on all over the hospital. And all of the hospital staff were all huddled periodically to watch what was happening, watch those towers fall. And lo and behold, I learned that the surgeon who was performing that surgery had a daughter that worked in one of those towers. And despite that, he could have stepped aside and said, I'm going to just focus on what the status is of my daughter, versus he performed what is really magical surgery to save my boyfriend's life. He still stepped up to do what needed to be done for another person, as all the staff did. And so I was in lockdown. I never left that hospital that night. And I called home. My mom was living with me, and she, of course, was concerned. Are you okay? Are you safe there? I said, this is probably the safest place I could ever be. Have me in a hospital. I'm locked down. I got food. All is well. So where were you on 9/11? And what did it bring out in you for compassion and love? Now, everyone selected a coin this morning. Okay, I want you to take a look at the coin. And I want you to look at it and see each of them either has a group of people that made contributions, or it has a person. And some of them might be hard to read, so I went through every one of these last night, and some of them I had to take my phone and take a picture and enlarge it to even read their name. But for every one of them that you have, I have the information about what difference did that person make. So, does anyone have the coin that says George Rogers Clark? They're all assorted, so you just never know.
Can everybody read it? You can use your flashlight on your phone.
All right. Have you ever heard of George Rogers Clark before?
No.
No? And yet he's the one who led the Virginia militia during the American Revolution to capture the British forts in the Northwest frontier. And they became several Midwestern states. And it was the basis for the claim called the Treaty of Paris. And for my Minnesota friends, our Minnesota land was part of that. Some of those states in the Midwest wouldn't have existed had he not led the fight to get the land. And when I looked at the deed for the farm, our family farm, I found out that that was part of that agreement. So even I was raised on land that was beautiful, that was rich, in a valuable, loving community that Mr. Clark is the one responsible for getting for my family. Does anyone have a coin that says, Old Man of the Mountain? It's got a picture, that's all it has, and it's actually just a representation of New Hampshire's 40-foot granite rock formation that was a symbol of their independence and their pioneering experience. And you'll see next to it an inscription, live free or die. Live free or die. We are free to have our spiritual beliefs, to share them, to worship here together. Our freedom is so valuable. And throughout history, people in the United States have fought for that. How about Eleanor Roosevelt? Did anyone get Eleanor? All right. Talk about a person that went through a transformation like we focused on this month. She was born to a mother who was gorgeous, smart and gorgeous. But she was disappointed because Eleanor wasn't beautiful. And she told Eleanor she wasn't beautiful. And she hid her away because she wasn't beautiful. Eleanor didn't feel beautiful until they sent her to Europe for 2 years for education. And there, no one looked at her physically. They loved her, they enjoyed her. She grew, she transformed herself. She became confident because those people didn't judge her. And then, we know the story of her marrying Franklin Delano. Now, you would think that a man of power would go out for the most beautiful person in the world, right? He didn't. He was persistent in pursuing Eleanor, and she told him no twice, that she would not marry him. But the reason he pursued her is because he loved her intellectually. He loved her spirit. He knew that he would be a better man to have her by his side. And of course, we as a country know that, right? Eleanor Roosevelt set out to, number one, make sure through all the terms of her husband that he was a successful president. She helped make sure that when he couldn't walk, she did. And then she went to change the world too. She, during the Truman administration, was called upon and called as the first lady of the world. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights is attributed to her effort. So God creates us in all kinds of packages, and we don't have to be beauty queens or movie stars to make a difference, to transform this world. Another one, did anyone get Dr. Sally Ride? In case you can read it. All right, we got a Sally Ride. Had you ever heard of Sally before?
Yes.
All right, so good. And do you remember anything about her?
She was an
Yes! Yes, she was. She was an astronaut in 1983, and she was a physicist. She inspired girls to go for STEM programs, and she was the first LGBTQ plus astronaut. Didn't think about that part of it, did we?
I didn't even know she was a doctor.
And a physicist.
Yeah, wow.
You know, we're coming out of that thinking where, well, women don't belong in science or whatever, right? We now know that no matter what our gender is, no matter what our background is, what our spirituality is, what our race is, what our age is, it doesn't matter. We can transform this world simply by standing up and giving our gifts to the world. Then, there's one other one I had to bring out. Does anyone have the Tuskegee Airmen? All right. Had you ever heard of the Tuskegee Airmen before? Who had? How many know about them? Excellent. Excellent. Because those were men that served this country, and they weren't out there to get attention. They were there to serve. It's the first black military aviators in the U.S. Army Air Corps. They were trained at Tuskegee University, that's why they're called that, and that's in Alabama, and they were trained during World War II. But they fought in 2 wars. They were called Red Tails. Anyone hear that part of it? Why were they red tails? Shout it out.
Because they're red tails, they were the color of their tails on their fighter planes.
Exactly.
They escorted the bombers.
And so they put themselves in the line of fire and danger, didn't they?
Right.
To protect people in the world and this country. They transformed what was happening at that time. They're the ones that took that risk for us. They also played a very ultimate role in the desegregation of the U.S. Armed Forces. Thank goodness they're making the armed forces stronger for us recognizing the need for diversity, that we are all good.
And their portraits were just taken down from the hallways in the Pentagon.
I sigh at that. The trend of trying to remove history, whether it's good or bad, and removing it from who we are. But let's look at it this way. The United States has gone through many things like we are today, the McCarthy era, where we shut down movies and actors. So it doesn't matter how long those actions are taken to shut down or to impact our churches. We come alive and we bring it all back. We brought it all back, and that's what we continue to do, because we are the perfection of the divine. We're here to serve. We're here to protect others, and we're here for peace. So I've taken you through a little bit of history there. I want to make sure I mind my time because I've got a lot more. If any of you have one, you say, I don't know who this is, I've got the history on every single one of them, so I can happily respond and give you that information. But I want you to do one thing for me. Don't spend this quarter. Spend your 10% of it, contribute it, but hold on to this quarter for me. Because for each of these quarters, there's a person who successfully transformed themselves, and they transformed the world through what they did. And some days, when we get up, we say, oh, I don't know if I make a difference. But look at these people who came from very poor communities, were uneducated, educated themselves, and made that difference. Each of us can do that. I love Eric Butterworth, you know. So in his book, Life is for Living, I had to just share this segment with you. There are no impossibilities in God, only the divine possible, which is God's answer before we call. In God, under divine law, there is neither big nor little. It takes no more effort for gravity to hold a mountain steadfast than to hold the tiniest wisp of a feather. It is only in the mind of man that problems appear big or little, hard or easy. That which we seek to do is done according to our attitude of mind, our expectations. It becomes difficult if we believe it will not be. It might even be impossible in solution if we accept that to be our circumstance. However, at any moment, faith may lay hold of the divine possible, even if it takes what the human mind calls a miracle, and the desired good will be established. We want peace. We need to transform. And I know we had services last year that were great in regard to this particular book. And I think now is a good time for us maybe to read some parts of it. It's called The Four Agreements. And here are the four agreements. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Because I think that's a challenge today. People are taking too much personally. And that's where anger and fear comes from. Don't make assumptions. If you're talking with someone, don't assume that they're your enemy because they don't affiliate with your political or social beliefs. Don't make assumptions about them. Every human is good. We are love. We are of the divine. And last, always do your best. That's all God and the divine, and we expect of each other. Transform your lives with those four, and we're good. We will generate peace. Now, I'd like to close out the service, and Reka's going to help me with this, because yesterday Unity published what I consider a great prayer. And as I read this, I'd like you to pray with me with these wonderful words. I pray, grateful for the allness I call God, the cosmic Christ that creates me, and the presence of peace in all and through all. My peace, our peace, peace for the world. Peace be like a fire transforming my love into justice for all. I release harmful prejudices with compassion, and I am at peace. Peace greater than my understanding. Be like a sword piercing through my reactions to change. I let go of my need to control, and I am at peace. Peace be like water smoothing the hard, sharp edges of my attitudes, that I may be flexible in time of crisis. My consciousness is free and fluid. I am at peace, and peace prevails for all. Amen. And now we'll just have a repeat of a certain phrase before I go into our meditation. And this also comes from John Lennon. And the words are very simple. Would you lead us in this, Reka?
So all we're going to sing is, all we are saying is give peace a chance. All right? We're going to do that 3 times. All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance.
And now, as Steve has dimmed our lights, is our time to go deep into ourselves and create the vision in ourselves of peace. Peace within us, peace around us, and the peace that is light that we use to light the world. And so if you would please, just take in a deep breath, breathing in peace, breathing in light, breathing in love, and knowing that each of us is the creation of perfection of the divine. And so it is.